to see that. Yeah, so the letter there acknowledging the fact that they received our concerns, not really addressing it, but it just kind of gives an indication as to what their intention is with it, and apparently open for further dialogue. And the EMM has not stopped their lobbying to get something changed.
Good.
Next letter from Boundary Trails Foundation, and also acknowledgement here in regards to the tremendous support and contributions that have been contributed to Boundary Trails, and then a write-up from the foundation chairperson, which was our representative, Grant Thiessen, and just the work that is ongoing there in regards to the work of the foundation. Any questions in regards to that letter?
Good to see all the work they're doing.
I love the breakdown that they have on there. It's very nice.
Okay, moving on to MMSM report in regards to the different recoveries of recyclable. And obviously they're continue to do well, but yet at the same time, there's still room for improvement. And it's nice to see new communities who stepped up to the plate and started recycling, and it's great to see. Any questions in regards to that correspondence? Okay, hearing none. The next one, we have a letter from Stars Air Ambulance. Again, acknowledging the receipt of our contribution towards Stars. And certainly every dollar that they receive helps them in order to provide the services. And when you look around the region and you see how often they show up here, it's a great service that is available. And yes, it is a service that is supported by Manitoba Health, but yet not entirely funded by them. So they appreciate all the contributions that get made. Then the next one is a letter from Manitoba Assessment Services confirming Thursday, November the 5th as the Board of Revision. So I believe that's a regular council meeting. No, this is Thursday.
No, it's Thursday.
Sorry, Thursday, November 5th at 7 p.m. And as that goes, they always make an attempt to deal with all of the complaints before that, and at the last minute, the meeting gets canceled. So hopefully that's the case this time as well.
So here's hoping.
We're hoping that happens, but in the meantime, if you can tentatively book November the 5th as the date. Then we have a letter there from Landmark Planning in regards to the stakeholder and public meetings shared, Donovan Taves and his group, and also where they're planning on digging, and that's all done. And maybe I'll ask Scott, do you want to share a little bit of an update on the progress, or?
Yeah, test well was completed within 2 days. Did a short pump test to determine quality water. Currently waiting on test results.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. And if in the future there is no well dug there, I'm assuming that approach just gets taken away. Or,
yeah, we'll end up removing it. We're not going to jump that.
Okay. Okay. Any other questions from Scott? Or?
That's good.
Okay. Hearing none. Then we'll go on to our accounts payable. Be it resolved that the accounts payable amount of $1.658,136.30 as approved by the Finance Committee be approved for payment. Mover?
Henry Siemens.
Seconder.
Karina Bickert.
And sorry, I should have mentioned the check register. They're all there. Any questions in regards to payables?
Thank you for your quick answer, David, on my questions. Appreciate it.
I noticed there was a charge here or a check here for Canadian Red Cross. What would that be for? I found that interesting. It's a small amount. I'm just curious. You should know all these things.
Can I take a guess at what it is?
Okay.
Is it perhaps first aid course or training or CPR training or something to that effect?
Could be.
because they do
Yes,
that?
I think
Yeah,
that might be
that's
for
right.
the pool staff.
Mm-hmm, that makes sense. Okay,
Okay.
let's say yes. Yeah, let's say yes.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You know, a $20 million budget, you should know everything.
Come
line up.
on.
You know, my threshold is 10,000 and up.
Good answer.
These are small stuff to me.
There you
Yeah,
go.
good answer.
All right.
That's
Okay,
great.
appreciate it again, David. Thank you so much. All in favor of approving these bills? That's carried. Next one, we have the Winkler Fire Department June report. Be it resolved that with.
I think we,
Let's send.
land sale.
Oh, yep, I got ahead of myself, sorry. Be it resolved that we approve the sale of Lot 12, Plan 63-140 as shown on the 931 Adora Avenue to CL1 RCA Trust and LKK Limited. Why, oh boy. And for the price of $84,397.33, including GST. Mover,
Henry Siemens.
seconder.
Karina Bickert.
Any questions?
It's 93 cents, not 33.
Okay,
It's fine.
93.
I think that the 60 cents.
Well, because the name is so complicated,
Yeah,
you should.
I get
have
it, I get it, you're right.
$10,000. for
Another
that.
storage building or what?
Or what for sale?
Same as one that was at 885 Monticello, corner of Monticello and Norland.
Okay. Not really creating jobs, but
Exactly. I see too many for sale signs in that area. All right, all in favor? And that's carried. Now we go to the fire department. Be it resolved that WFD June month-end report be accepted for information. Mover,
Michael?
seconder. Any questions regarding that report?
I'm very interested in the neighbor dispute over the fire pit. The fire pit usage. Really, I get a lot of questions about people like how big of a flame can people have and stuff like that. It's really
I'm glad they go to
interesting.
you.
What's that?
Yeah.
I'm glad they go to you.
Jerks. I'm gonna start passing on your cell numbers.
This one, I think, was fairly straightforward.
Yeah. Yeah, I wonder if it's more of just a
Yeah.
people not knowing it, an educational piece, right? Like,
I can talk to you later. but
Okay.
it's-
Okay, all in favor? And that is carried. Be it resolved that transportation and utility meeting minutes for June the 10th, 2020 be adopted. Mover,
Andrew,
seconder.
Marvin?
Any question regarding transportation or utilities? All our main sewer line breaks are all dealt with there.
There is a lot
We've
of
had our
meat on the
share.
bones at those meetings, at the transportation utility nowadays. Wow.
is there something missing off of here though? Like, because I don't see an adjournment. I only see the first 3 pages. Yeah, so I'm missing, I think I'm missing the last bit of it.
Oh,
no, well, there's 4 items, utilities and 6 items in transportation. It's just the
Oh,
quick
okay.
summary of the,
Yeah.
like the agenda has all the documents and
Yeah,
details.
yeah.
The minutes are just like the resolutions or whatever
We're
decisions.
technically still in session.
Yeah, that is a lot of meat.
But
There's-
it was, I noticed, I thought too initially there was some missing and then I saw in the agenda that the supporting documentation was there.
Okay.
okay. That said, all in favor?
Well, maybe with adjournment added to it, just for future, would be a good idea.
Sure.
The meeting was adjourned, but we still not still in it. so.
I like to look how long those meetings go, so I should know if I should go or not. Just kidding. Just kidding.
Okay, then moving on to the MSCW minutes.
Utilities
No.
update.
Oh, utilities, yes, we have a utilities one here too. Be it resolved, June utilities report, water and sewer report and utilities KPI monthly annual report be received for information. Mover,
Andrew,
seconder.
Marvin?
And any questions regarding that one? All in favor? And that is carried. Be it resolved that the MSCW meeting minutes and attached reports for May 21st be adopted. Mover,
Don.
seconder.
Andrew.
Any questions regarding those minutes and reports? Hearing none, all in favor? And that is carried. Be it resolved that the in-camera planning committee meeting minutes for June the 11th be adopted. Mover,
Henry Siemens?
seconder.
Andrew.
Any questions, error, omissions?
Are we skipping the water and sewer and the utilities?
We did that.
We just did.
Oh, I think he just did
You did not.
MSTW.
We did both.
No.
We did it.
You got
Okay,
it.
sorry.
That's before.
Okay,
No questions.
all right. All in favor? And that is carried. Okay, be it resolved that the secondary plan bylaw number 225520 be given first reading. Mover,
Henry Siemens?
seconder.
Don.
Any further questions or comments?
Other than it's great to be at this point. And thank you so much to Scott and your staff for moving a plan in record time. When the idea of a plan in a week type of concept was first brought forward, impossible to imagine, but the time that it took, despite the fact that we had some additional stuff, way shorter than I would have anticipated. So kudos to you and your staff, Scott.
For sure.
Thank you very much. Okay, all in favor? And that is carried. Be it resolved that council approves subdivision number 4463 20-8009. Mover,
Henry Siemens?
seconder.
Don.
We have the letter there from community planning. We have the subdivision application, community planning conditional approval, the May 22nd plan update. Any questions regarding that subdivision?
We looked at the other one as to maybe not creating jobs, the land sale. This one here would be the opposite. It's a growing business, and obviously that will add more people, and it's good to see.
And a good example of someone who started out in our incubator mall
Absolutely.
and worked his way out of that.
Quite a success story.
Yep, very good to see.
And actually, this would be one that would be very, very good idea to highlight it through our Chamber of Commerce, because that's where it began.
Yep.
And our incubator mall with the Community Development Corporation, that's where that began. So I think this truly is a success story that all of them need to
Agreed.
get on board.
Agreed.
All right, all in favor? And that is carried. Be it resolved that council approves subdivision 4463 20-7996, subject to each owner obtaining appropriate occupancy permits. Mover,
Henry Siemens?
seconder.
Marvin.
Any comments or we have some shared notes there.
And I think when you look at those, and thank you for being at the meeting, Scott, but that 8th edition there, when everything else is dealt with, that's not anything that your department has a concern with.
If you refresh me which project that
It's
is.
Zacharias.
The numbers I.
Is- Zacharias.
Okay. Yeah.
This is the
7 to 8.
the 8th unit without a building on it at this point. Okay.
Okay, if there's no further questions, all in favor? And that is carried.
I'm going to excuse myself for 10.6 and 13.2.
Okay, you want me to rush through both of those? All right, 10.6 is be it resolved that council extend variation order number 154519 to have August 13th, 2021 deadline. Do we have a mover?
Henry Siemens?
Seconder?
Marvin? Go ahead, Don.
Okay, or Don? Okay, we'll do Don. We have some notes. Any questions in regards to those notes? And
I think fairly straightforward in this instance to give that extension. There's been lots of work that is happening and continues to happen there. And the fact that it's not maybe quite as quick as they anticipate, we're seeing it moving forward and we're seeing progress. So I have no problem at all with an extension.
okay, any other questions, comments?
It's good.
Okay, hearing none. Everybody in favor of allowing the extension? Carried. And then we'll go on to, I guess, 13.1. Be it resolved, the meeting of council recess for the purpose of holding public hearings pursuant to section 96 and 105 of the Planning Act. Mover?
Michael?
Seconder?
Marvin?
All in favor? Carried. And noted Andrew's absence from before in the minutes?
Yep.
Okay. All right, subdivision 4463-20-7959, the Gardens Phase 1. Jody?
Yep. So this, the intent here is for the proposed subdivision, it's going to result in the creation of new public roads. Therefore, that is why we need to hold the public hearing to receive the representations regarding that subdivision. And the area is noted and it's on the map there as well. And in terms of written objections, we don't have anything that was submitted to our office regarding the subdivision, although there may be people to speak on it here today.
John, are you opposed or?
No.
Okay, anybody here to speak against it or in favor?
That's for where?
This is for subdivision that is called the Gardens. It's to the west of the existing gemstone area. And so just north of the properties that run along that service road on the highway,
Like the rural residential?
the rural residential there.
Okay, so what's exactly the plan?
Jody, could you pull it up, the
Yep.
image on the
Oops, it came
TVs?
down, sorry.
And then maybe we can just show them the page 8 of the application.
Yep. Oops, I fell behind there, didn't I?
Sure, is that one?
I've interrupted a lot of this meeting.
Which one is it now?
The last one that do the subdivision application is where I saw it. And then page 8. That one.
Oops. So this shows, if I can get my orientation here. So here's Gemstone Drive.
This is the existing one, right?
No, that's, the existing one is, if you do scroll down right there, you can see the existing
Right
part there.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you want to step up, you can get a closer look there.
Emerald is that last street before that tree line.
So north is to the right, here's the existing gemstone.
So this is turned a quarter.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So north is to the right.
Can you turn it?
I can't turn it on this one. Let me see if I can do
We're
it
just
here.
going west on the
You have to
highway. so.
download it.
No, that's
See if I
fine.
can find a better one.
Okay,
We're just going, we're just.
Highway
driving
14 is on which side?
on the left. hand.
Right here.
Okay.
Right on the left.
So that development is immediately north then of the existing rural residential
Yes.
that are there?
Yeah.
So the call that I told you about, Jody, was in regards to that subdivision, but asking whether there's going to be a fence along there. I wasn't
Okay.
sure whether that was a requirement of the subdivision or a requirement of when the building development agreement comes in place. Can you,
Scott, are you aware if there is a requirement for a fence?
It could be a requirement of the development agreement to be a decision at that.
because what I told the guys, this was just the subdivision, it wasn't a development agreement. So I wasn't sure if it was included in this discussion.
So it would be condition of that development agreement, though, which needs to be noted for the.
Right. So for the minutes, the individual who was concerned about it wanted to make sure that there was a fence that was going to separate this development from the real residential
So
area.
that was one of the neighbors
Yes.
affected?
Yeah.
Okay.
So those are all gonna be multi-family, is that correct, right up against the rural residential there?
John?
They'll be duplexes.
How far are they gonna go past what is on the proposed development?
You talk going west, it'll go to the west edge of that 60 or 80 acres or 60 acre property.
So is there any way to get that to be single family homes as opposed to multi-family?
This, it just lends itself more, if we want to do a duplex area, it lends itself to that because there's no driveways coming off of this gemstone from the north side. So like you only have one side that you have driveways, so that lends itself better for multi-family, like for duplexes, and having driveways on both sides. So there's extra parking and so forth, so it makes a better fit for an area like that.
But I'm just thinking of my property where I'm gonna be looking up against these tall buildings. Like, it's not really appealing, to be honest.
Where are you guys?
We are in the rural residential.
It'll be 4, 1, 2.
Fifth one here, okay.
Do you want to record the name of the person? Well, he was objecting, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah, I mean, I thought he was going to be here, so I don't know if we can.
I guess the thing is.
No, but I mean, but but we don't know if this, maybe this is the person.
But
Maybe
because
these
it's
are-
now
maybe this
part of the
is-
city, taking into the city, you gotta realize
Very
that it's gonna change, it won't stay the same, right?
No, I get that, but our property value is gonna go down.
I think the property value is going up into the city.
Yeah, no, yeah, but still, that goes up, no.
So just to clarify, and I apologize, we should have done this a little bit before. First of all, can we get your names just so that we can,
John Lindigan.
John and Linda Ginter? Okay, Danica, you got that? And I'm not trying to discourage discussion here, but proper process would be for you guys to address the chair, which is the mayor. So if you have your comments and questions, they should go to the chair. Just for clarification.
I can
And then-
redirect it.
Or am I wrong? With property value?
We have honestly never gone into a development in Winkler where everybody or people have complained of property values going down. They never have gone down. So I would question whether that would be of concern if I was there. The other request that I may as well, because I wasn't sure whether this was the place to talk about the fence, but it was Henry Hens who called me, wanted to know if there was going to be a fence, and so he's a neighbor to you, so I would that as being another, he wasn't objecting to it, he was just concerned about how this was going to end up. And especially if it's duplexes, then a fence would certainly be something that wouldn't be inappropriate. But I wasn't sure if it was at this hearing or whether it was on when the development agreement was put in place. But may as well note it now that was the request.
Well, yeah, which is a good thing. I was gonna build one regardless.
But that way you'd have it consistent
Yeah.
from one end to the other.
So what is, so from the fence to the back of the duplex, what would that measurement be?
I don't know, John, do you
It
know?
has to be a minimum of 25 feet.
Okay, so backyard
That's
is,
your-
Your
that's your
setback.
Regulations in the city.
As well, duplexes in single family have the same kind of restriction, so it can't be any taller of a building than a single family.
so you wouldn't have a fourplex there, or sorry, a 4-story or 3-story, it would just simply be either a 2-story or single story, however you want your duplexes to. Chances are pretty good with the width of these lots, they'll probably all be 2-story, right? That's correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
Usually they go 2 stories. I'll say this tongue in cheek, but if he figures that property values go down, maybe he can apply for his reassessment. You know, his taxes can go down.
But they're not as easy to deal with.
From experience, I've found that I don't think property values go down because of it.
Appreciate it.
If you'd allow me, Martin.
Yes, please.
I would suggest, John and Linda, on a development like this, the placement of it in our community, it's a fairly good placement for it. If I'm living there, what I would want to do is to try to make sure exactly what you're doing right now is let's make sure that the enjoyment of what we have there remains. So I would specifically look to some of those same kinds of things that have already been mentioned. Let's make sure that there's a fence. Let's make sure it's aesthetically pleasing, that your enjoyment of your yard continues. I would echo the mayor's comments that what we've seen in the number of years that we've been here, Winkler has continued to grow, and as we've redeveloped some of these areas, this one isn't as aggressive one, but some of the downtown places where we've redeveloped, where we've done it well, the values, surrounding values actually have gone up. And in this situation, probably as the community gets developed around you, I'm not in realty, so I'm going to guess at this, but I would suggest probably your values will continue to go up, because to have a larger yard like you do will become ever more desired as our community continues to grow out. Just my opinions in that regard.
No, I hear what you're saying. You have to look at it both.
Mm-hmm.
Both things are-
Well, and that's why I was saying, if I'm here, I'm doing exactly what you're doing.
Yeah.
And what I'm looking for, and I would suggest, and you are, is let's make sure that your enjoyment of that continues. Your opportunity here to have a discussion with the proponent. At some point in time, this is going to come to a vote, but when you're here now, I would suggest, as the mayor has already said, it should be a developer fence that should go in, and it should be consistent throughout, so that you're not having to put a fence in here and your neighbor puts in a different fence, and there's yet a different one further down, and all of those neighbors on either side of you now have to look at different fences. If I'm me, I would be concerned about that. But if we can have one uniform, nicely designed, well put in fence, that would certainly be a piece that, if that came forward, I'd be prepared to look at as a recommendation.
And even as far as the quality of the fence, you mean look at something that is more permanent rather than temporary. I mean, fences have a tendency to go like this pretty quickly. So you don't want something there that in 5 years is going to go like this, so.
Do any of their neighbors have a fence in the back?
I'm not sure. I would think Henry Hence's do, but I'm not sure.
Henry,
No. Oh, he doesn't. Okay.
just one neighbor.
Okay.
Jody, do you maybe want to scroll down to the next page? There's one farther down.
Yeah.
Or more, I don't know. There's one with the
Imagery?
map on it.
Mhm.
Yeah,
There
that
it
one.
is.
Oh, okay, that's good.
You go to the fourth one from the west or east side?
Yeah, for the middle one.
You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So
I
this
think
is-
the second one in with the flag lot, is that Henry Hence's, I
Yeah.
think?
Yeah, that was
Correct.
Henry's. First one is CDK.
Okay.
Mhm.
So that would lead to your question, Linda, in terms of how far the development of this is going to go. Is that correct?
Although we know it's gonna go further.
Well, and that was correct. And
That's phase one.
Exactly.
Okay, so then, what's the proposal, or what's for like sewer and all that?
That's all public sewer and water provided on the other side, yeah.
No, for us.
For you, at this point in time, I don't think that's in the plan, because they're rural residential lots and they're maybe a little more difficult to service.
Well, I thought there had been talk of just doing a wet line.
Scott,
Scott, are you aware?
Be able to weigh in on this one if you wouldn't mind.
I guess it's what you mean by wet line.
Just 2 drainer tanks instead
Oh.
of having a field.
Like a whole purchase or something. I'm not aware of, like, there is an enforcement from the Montreal Hospital. This is the kind of capacity on the enforcement. Actually, so, at some point, there will be sewer brought to the area, but that's part of the subdivision.
What would be the mechanism that would set that process in motion?
Local improvement, I guess a request
From the residents?
from the residents.
Okay. So, do you understand that then, how to get that?
Do you know what a local improvement is? The individuals owning the properties are partly responsible for the installation and the cost of the installation.
Well, no, that I get, it's just,
Hmm.
I'm just thinking if it's all being done already, like if the timing is kind of perfect, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that was so that's why my question to Scott was on that, like, what would be the process for them to get it, so,
As part of the subdivision, it wouldn't be serviced. right?
no, but how, what would be the process for them to be able to apply to have that brought? You were starting to answer that.
I think that that's something that you could definitely come to the city office and we can go through that process with you on how you would get together and make a request for a local improvement. So that's, my recommendation would be for you to contact our office and make an appointment and we can discuss that on how that process works.
if there would be, Jody, if there would be a significant expansion in the RM with a request for sewer, whether it's the hospital or something else, could that trigger something like that as well? Because right now, there's no capacity on the line.
Yeah, and like Scott said, we don't own that line.
Correct.
So would there be a possibility of connecting to it if
Right.
capacity was increased? I guess that's a possibility.
So if in fact something like that was to come forward to us, it may make some sense to then reach out to the residents and give them an opportunity, if that's an option.
Yep,
But to see it, and obviously cost is a factor for everyone.
right.
If
And
in fact now you're going to bring forward a local improvement, because the cost to shoot it to the back and into there probably would be way higher than to bring a line at the front of your property. So, and I'm guessing mostly, but just to see how far those pipes would have to go individually to go anywhere. Probably, again, I'm not going to pretend to know the stuff in the ground to that detail, but typically to the closest point is your cheapest point. So,
yeah, it's hard to answer without looking at that. Like, I don't know of any project on the go that is looking to increase capacity on that force main.
Okay.
So that's why I say it'd be best if we got together and get all the details, and then that way we can make sure that you understand what the process would be. Yeah. And we're happy to do that.
Okay, any other further comments that we haven't addressed? Okay, if there's no more, then be it resolved that this public hearing for subdivision 446320-7959 be closed. Mover,
Michael.
seconder,
Merman.
and any last comments, anybody? Hearing none, all in favor? And it's carried. Okay, the next one is be it resolved that council approves subdivision 446320-7959, subject to development agreement and the addition of the fence as part of the recommendations.
Henry Stevens?
Seconder,
Don.
any further thoughts? Hearing none, all in favor? It's carried. Thank you.
And I would just want to say, again, Scott, as you put that development agreement in place, that fence piece that it, as the mayor has added, that it be there, but further to that, that it's in a fence that's aesthetically pleasing and is going to work for that neighborhood in that group.
All right, next item, be it resolved that public hearings be adjourned and regular council reconvene. Mover,
Merman.
seconder,
Karina,
all in favor? That is carried. All right, not sure, we'll carry on. We don't have any other business other than our in-camera, which is after the council meeting. So therefore, be it resolved, this regular meeting of council be adjourned. Mover,
We're not going to have anything coming out of the in-camera?
Adjourn into,
We should adjourn into
Or-
in-camera.
adjourn to in-camera, okay?
Or
Just-
recessed or whatever?
Yeah. Okay, recess to in-camera?
Yep.
Call it that.
and
Okay,
then
regular meeting of council be recessed to in-camera. Mover,
Karina.
Michael and Karina, thank you. All in favor? Carried.
And then Wendy, are there any questions? Right?
Stephen Sudo asked if there's an update on the mountain sewer project.
Maybe Scott, you can fill him in on that one.
Yeah, Facebook.
I can do it from here. The base work for paving is going to happen this week, and the paving is scheduled to be done July 22, 23 next week.
Okay, nothing else? All right, all in favor? That is carried. Okay, thank you for coming.
thank you. Do we have the Gitter's contact information?
Yeah, I grabbed it for you.
Thank you.
Yeah.